There are two simple truths that you need to understand about the awareness stage as a rep. And these are things that are going to help you better understand how you connect with a prospect based on where they are in their B2B buying journey. So in this video, I'm going to walk through what those simple truths are so you can improve how you connect with buyers and ideally improve the quality of your pipeline and also how you're managing your time. So let's get into it. So the awareness stage is one of the earliest stages of the B2B buying journey. And I always talk about the B2B buyer journey having a semi-linear step, so people go kind of like forward and backward, but essentially this is the earliest stage. And what it typically means is that a buyer has this light bulb moment. This is my light bulb. I hope you like it. But they have this light bulb moment where they receive new information that surfaces something that they now are paying attention to. Now, they may not understand what it means yet, but they're just like, that's interesting. And it might be that someone's come to them internally for a meeting. There could have been some new information through some news, whatever it is. But they are now aware of something because of new information that is kind of like created some more curiosity for them. Now, what happens from here is this kind of like priming effect. So a priming effect is where there is something that happens that acts as a stimuli or is stimulus that subconsciously increases somebody's response to subsequent stimuli. So think about it. They've just found out some new information. Maybe they're like, oh my gosh, we just realized that this thing inside our technology system doesn't work. He's like, okay, this is something that I might need to pay attention to. So what happens here is they now have internal and external influences. And this is where we step in to figure out how do we then connect the dots. So the first thing is on the internal side. So internally, now with this new information, we don't know where it's come from, but internally, we need to try and help them to figure out, is this something that I should pay attention to? And help them to better understand what is happening inside their organization. Because they need to figure out really quickly, is there a need here? And specifically, is it an issue that is completely broken and we can't move forward? Is it a challenge that's creating a hurdle for us? Or is there a new opportunity that means that if we don't grab it over time, it might actually become a challenge that can then translate into an issue, and we don't want that. So it's really important that we try to figure out what was the stimulus inside their organization, that thing that actually created that new information for them, that acted as like the source, that then primed them to be more open to external stimuli, right? So this external stuff is coming from our input. So we've got things like marketing that may be sending out campaigns and messages. We've got our emails, right? We've got our calls. But we need to understand what this stimulus was so that we can become much more relevant to that context in helping them understand how they start to evolve their need. Because that awareness stage is just a light bulb moment. And they're like, I need to pay some attention to this, but I don't know how long for. I don't know if it's important. I need to be informed. And this is why it's so important at the awareness stage that we focus on education, that we focus on learning, that we focus on teaching, right? That we focus on asking. We need to ask deep questions, powerful questions. We need to research. We need to figure out what kind of stuff can I surface without talking to this prospect? What kind of intent signals can I see? What kind of insights can I derive from one of these online sources or even some networking to help me figure out how do I get to the root of the stimulus, the thing that drove this, that surfaced this thing to pay attention to? And then how do I help them establish if this is a real need? Because sometimes prospects don't know because they're ill-informed. Even with all of this information online, they're still very much ill-informed because guess what? Now we have information overload. All right. So when it comes to the awareness stage, our job is to connect the dots. Our communication, our interaction needs to connect the dots with that internal awareness, that thing, that something. And the thing is, we might drive the stimuli. We might be the stimuli because we've interacted with them and said, hey, guess what's happening? You need to pay attention to this. And now they're like, So remember, we can also play a role in that. So keep up the outbound, all right? Keep not pestering, but keep being persistent, because when we act as, let's just go up here, when we act as the stimuli, now what they're going to do is go searching inside their organization to see, is this thing, all of these messages that I'm receiving, this education about this situation, providing context, providing data, providing these insights, is this new stimulus the thing that is going to be connected to something that's happening in my organization? So then what you get is the prospect asking questions, checking on what they learn, trying to get educated internally, trying to learn more about the context inside their organization, trying to learn from their internal teams and their business in relation to objectives and goals. All right. So the awareness stage is not just something that marketing focus on to kind of like do some overhead air cover and drive leads. It's your job as a rep and as go-to-market leaders to train our reps to make sure that they know that they have to ask questions, learn, teach, and guide prospects at this very early stage so that they can be the subconscious, so they can increase the responses when it comes to that sort of priming effect. All right. Okay. Lots of information. You know what to do. Go do it. See you in the next video.